Right, I believe we are live. I'm just double checking the channel to make sure here. There we go, alright. So apologies, we are, unfortunately I'm about 10 minutes late here, but we are live now, and of course VOD will go up on YouTube and everything like that, so hopefully if anyone missed it, it'll be up. But as far as stuff going on right now, obviously Cure Thing is still in full swing. We've had a lot of participation. I was looking back at the first Cure Thing. Unfortunately, we haven't had quite as many points earned, but we've still had more points earned than just about any other Cure Thing or NWA competition we've had since then, since that very first one. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully people are having fun. I know it tends to be one of those things where we're always trying to work on the rules and update them and make sure they cover everything, and it always winds up that people are pretty passionate about it, and people do get mad about stuff, and usually there's always something where it's like, this shouldn't be allowed or this should be allowed, or new questions come up, and it's difficult to cover every case. But the one nice thing is we can always try to add stuff to rules or whatever for the next competition, to try to keep improving it. But thus far, it seems like it's been going pretty well. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot of participation from all the 5 active houses as well. That said, let's see. We've got just a couple days left where you are allowed to challenge. So the last day you can issue challenges is Monday the 15th. So about 3 days here. So you have all of today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday you can issue challenges. But then midnight Pacific time, Monday night, challenges, you can't issue them anymore. But there's an additional week you have through Monday night the 22nd to complete any outstanding challenges. Aside from that, we did hold the first recruitment license exam session ever. That was yesterday, and basically it went pretty well. I appreciate the attendees giving me some feedback on the test as well, so I can keep working on it and improve the format and everything like that. We will, of course, be having one this coming Thursday, after Court of the High King and Fireside at 6 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, so make sure you are there for that, and sign up as well on the forums if you haven't already. We did have both Shadow 2 and Arian and Soullight both not only passed that first exam, but also scored 95% or higher, which is necessary to be an officer in WA. And also, if you do that twice on 2 different versions of the exam, then you can become an exam proctor, so you're allowed to teach the exam itself. But that said, one thing I do need to do is update the actually RLE threads, so maybe I will do that right now. Let's see here. And if you weren't aware, there's basically you can only take the same version of the RLE once. So basically, if you took it yesterday, for example, you can't take it again this coming Thursday. You'd have to wait till the next version comes out, which would probably be version 1B, I think I'd call it. This is version 1A, is what I've been calling it. But that said, sorry, just finishing up trying to update the active recruitment lessons threads. One thing I did want to bring up that is an idea I hadn't posted this in the all thing yet, but I was thinking, looking at the monolith on the forums, I know in the past people have said it's not too accessible. I was thinking about just making a monolith channel on Discord, and kind of everything that's in the monolith, keeping that in the channel, probably having pinned headers the way the handbook works and rules, so you can just click pins and navigate to a certain section. So you want to navigate to active duties, that would be one heading that's pinned. You can just jump right to that. And I think having all those templates and everything like that there should be helpful. So that's probably something I will look to do. I'm curious if people have thoughts on that, but it's an idea I had. A few changes for the upcoming exam. They're not so much changes because I did change 1 or 2 things for that first exam, one of which was the time. Initially, it was supposed to be 20 minutes of exam time and 10 minutes of work afterwards if you want to work on stuff. I don't think it's long enough. So I extended it in that first exam session, and that's what we're going to do for this point onward. Is the exam time is actually 30 minutes with an additional 15 minutes after that for people to stay after and work more if they want to. So that's the plan. And basically, the questions are read at an interval with longer pauses between them for the longer questions. All this stuff is basically in the thread. It's in announcements. It's all there for people to read. But there's a study guide there, so you can check that out. Let's see. Oh, one other thing I will be doing differently is there's actually an RLE channel, and what I will do is, as I read the questions, I'll also post them in that channel, so people can always go and navigate there if they miss me reading the question or whatever. One thing I didn't do, so the current format of the test is it's 20 points worth is what it's worth. And there's 20 questions, 5 of which are long form questions, 15 are just short answer. And really good point was brought up to me that it makes sense that the longer questions should be worth more. So in the future, the exam will be 10 short answer and 5 longer, and those 5 will be worth 2 points each, so twice as much. I think I'm not going to do that for this next exam because I think it would be unfair to change the exam that much when it's already been administered in a different way. So that will be something that's on version 1B. So apologies, but anyone taking version 1A, you will have to contend with the fact that every question is weighted equally, even though some are longer. That's just the current format. Don't worry too much. I mean, if about this exam, obviously, I'd like everyone to pass, but it's the first time around doing this kind of thing, so a lot of it's just kind of test drive, figuring stuff out. I'm not going to instant demote people or something for failing it, and people shouldn't be going too crazy about it. Hopefully, I think the biggest thing is it gives people an opportunity to kind of show off their knowledge of WA and maybe learn more, refresh that knowledge. It also lets me get feedback and make the exams better and get a good idea of how difficult they are, whether they should be easier or more difficult, and that whole deal. But other than that, I think that is about it. Obviously, we have your thing still going. As far as stuff to work on, I would like to move back into some House Dippity stuff, especially with the Your thing going on. A lot of House passions running high with that. I'd like to get back into working on some stuff for House Dippity as well, including there's some long procrastinated additions to Relics, some talk of some additional Dippity culture kind of stuff. So we'll see where that all goes. Let's see. Just reading through my to-do list here. I would like to investigate potentially looking at some kind of encyclopedia bot, as was suggested to me by Steiner, something that can do the Codex of the Aesir, because Uko in its current form cannot very easily. So my thinking is to just put it on a separate bot then. That seems like a good idea. So I would like to try to do that and get that back working again ASAP. I think that is about it. We'll see what else is coming up down the pipeline here. Potentially some more kind of work on creative kind of stuff, like more stories and lore work and stuff like that would be nice. Yeah, and like I said at the beginning, or closer to the beginning, potentially creating a monolith channel on Discord and kind of putting all the information there so it's easy for people to access. Because while I really just want people to read it, and obviously reports are posted on the forums, and part of the reason for that is it's just doesn't work super well to post reports on Discord. We could, but it just it continually creates more and more channels that we have, and it gets more and more cluttered and more difficult to navigate. It's an option, but I also like having some level of forum activity. Is probably not the right word, but people's attention for it. It's one, I think it's super, super important, and it kind of is a big part of WA's history, and that's the main reason why I like it as a requirement for reaching the rank of warrior. I think it shows people care, and it makes sure that people have access to all the old stories and histories and everything like that. And it kind of is sort of a nod of respect to all that past and that history and that kind of legacy and the continuing tradition of using the forums. To some degree, obviously, they're really fallen into disuse for the most part now, but I like to kind of keep them there. So yeah, that's kind of the reasoning for that. But yeah, that's about it. So I think that concludes Fireside Chat number 108 here. We'll move into Court of the High King if anybody wants to hang out or have any questions. And that'll probably go for about 30 minutes, something like that. So yeah, we'll see everybody for that.